cat Dane tagged me on this tag called the Friends tag. So this tag was originally created by novels. So here are some questions, and all the questions start with the letter of the word friends. And yeah, let's do this. The first question is friendship. Name a book with a strong friendship in it. And I choose the book My Infamous Life, the autobiography of Mobb Deep's Prodigy. Mobb Deep is a gangster rap group. They were heavy in the 90s. It was fronted by Prodigy and Havoc. Their biggest hit came in '95 with their second album, The Infamous. The big hit was Shook Ones. But anyway, this book is all about Prodigy's friendships from when he was a young kid with Lil Lord doing sick-ups on the train. Enemies turned friends, like he and Nori from CNN got into a shootout. These homies who were loyal to the very end, the E-Moneybags, or friends that he ended up having trouble with, like Havoc. You can listen to the whole thing on YouTube. That's where I listen to it. I mean, if you're a hip-hop head, it's kind of required. Yeah, let's call it there for FR. A non-fiction book that you want to read. Real life, that's the tag. Real life, non-fiction book you want to read. And my choice is How to Read and Why by Harold Bloom. I was watching some old Charlie Roses and thinking to myself, why would anyone listen to what some young punk booktuber has to say about anything? I mean, Charlie Rose has these freaking interviews with all these different authors, and I mean, some of them are just smarmy. You know what? It's still like morning for me. I'm not sure if coffee is going to help. I have some. I'll set myself up with some. You hang on. What is this one? That's pretty dope. Oh yeah, Harold Bloom. I saw this Charlie Rose interview with Harold Bloom, and Harold Bloom was like at this point he was 70 or something, and he had that attitude where like he was totally gonna like trash J.K. Rowling, trash Stephen King, and just not apologize for it and be like, this isn't literature, this is pop trash. He definitely has a reason for saying that, and I need to know what that is. That's my coffee. People like Harold Bloom, and on BookTube there's the Steve Donahue cat you might have heard of, who were just fluent in literature, you know? They just freaking know this thing inside and out. And I'm trying to find the words to describe, like, why do I know that Logic's book is ass in 3 sentences? Why do I know that Meisel's book is the best book that I've read? How do I know that he's one of the best authors that I've ever read? And this is an instructional manual, you know? These people know what I'm talking about and can probably break it down to a 3rd grader, you know? How to Read and Why. I hope I don't read that book and become one of those like literary Nazis who just are like, oh, you can only read Thomas Pynchon and only Thomas Pynchon or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know about that stuff. Number I, indie author. A book by an indie author. I got 2 because I'm meeting the BookTube homies. And I'm like, oh crap, these people have books. Of course, we all know Meat by Dane Cobain, and also a book by the homie Sion Das called Buried with the Night Stories. I don't know if they want me like reviewing their because like I'm not the most reverent reviewer there. Also, I'm not the most qualified, so anyway, E, endings. Is this right? F-R-I-E, yeah. A book where the ending made you scream. Actually, a book did give me a vocal reaction at the very end, and it was A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. And I don't often have a lot of like glowing things to say about Game of Thrones. In fact, I got into 2 1/3 of the book series and figured, yeah,
I think I got the gist.
But the very ending of A Game of Thrones with what's her name, the white girl you know, the white hair, white everything girl, Dragon Lady, goes into the fire like in a very emotional, like one that she loves is dead kind of ordeal, and then she just walks into the fire like on instinct. And that was a beautiful thing about her storyline, and her blood instinct is just so strong that she can go through her entire life and not make a single move that can knock her off of her trajectory. So she literally made what to a normal mind would be a suicide move, and it was perfect for her because she is what she is. Fantasy. She goes into the fire and everything around her burns, but she's calm, and the dragons crack in the fire, and she sees like Drogo's soul going to Drogon, and then she's just sitting there in the ashes with no hair and no clothes and 3 baby dragons sucking at her teats. And I literally pulled a Flavor Flav. I was like, wow, 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 wow! It was a pretty solid ending scene. I liked it. But again, I mean, I got bitches. And that's where we are. Name a book that you can't wait to buy. This book is How to Be Accountable. Take responsibility to change your behavior, boundaries, and relationships by Joel Beal and Dr. Faith Harper. Funny I'm doing this friends tag because I am not, how do I say this? I'm not a nice person! Yeah, thanks, X. Like right now, I'm on a tear. Like I'm on a hot streak with alienating people. On one hand, I can get indignant with it, but I've been myself for long enough to know what the deal is. It's not anyone else's problem. These two collaborate a lot. Joe Beal is the publisher at Microcosm Publishing up in Portland, Oregon, a Midlist publishing house. He has this great book that I read from the library called How Publishing, Small Publishing, whatever. It's a good book. I picked up. I highly recommend it because it's very nuts and bolts, telling you about how to make sure you turn a profit in your bookmaking and selling business. Even if you're gonna print 5,000, it's all about keeping you in the black. So if you're interested in publishing, self-publishing, publishing other people, pick that joint up. Dr. Faith Harper has some of his best books, like On Your Brain, and a bunch of other stuff. This one is more about, you know, how to be accountable, how to change, how to, you know, take responsibility for yourself. Microcosm Publishing has a YouTube channel where they answer questions, and, you know, those two remind me a lot of Portlandia. Like I didn't realize that that's really how people from Portland talked, but yeah, Joe Beal and what's her name, Lily Blue? Something like that. She's like the main editor over there. They're like the cutest two little people. They're great. D, Dark, a book which has dark themes. And I choose the book Street Poison, the biography of Iceberg Slim by Justin Gifford. Yeah, Justin Gifford is a university professor somewhere, and he's made a study of black pulp literature, like black urban literature from the 70s, like Donald Goins, Iceberg Slim, yada yada yada. This is his biography of Iceberg Slim, who's a black author, kind of like the godfather of modern hip hop. Like if you ever, like, anyone with ice in their name, Ice-T, Ice Cube, they get their name from Iceberg Slim. Iceberg Slim was a pimp from the 40s to the 60s, and according to this book, not a very good one, which is kind of a blessing because usually they, you know, burn out and die and other things. I mean, this book really goes into like his come up, like just being obsessed with street culture and the ups and downs. Like talk about in and out of jail all the time. How the high times were never really high. It's a really interesting book. It's about what it's about. So yeah, Darkness Ahead, a very good book. I recommend it. Very readable, and also takes a very wide scope on the landscape of America from the mid to late 1800s to the early 1990s when he died. He died in 92 during King riots. And S, share the love and tag some of your favorite channels. If I do too many people at once, I'm gonna run out of freaking friends to tag. So I'm gonna reach out and tag Steve Donahue because He's always talking about no one tagging him, and he's pretty much the reason why I think to myself I shouldn't even be doing tags, because this guy is, I don't know how to describe it, man. Like, he just knows everything about everything, you know? It just is what it is with that cat. So there, Steve. I know you haven't done this one yet, so bang, now we're friends. Now you can't escape or something, I don't know. Alrighty, that was what that was. Yeah, I think I'm done here, yeah.